This video is for smart men. By the end of it, you'll be twice, maybe even 3 times, more effective in your relationships. The truth is, female manipulation is like a strike in a fight. You might know about jabs, crosses, hooks, swings, and uppercuts. But just knowing about them doesn't mean you can defend against them. Similarly, simply knowing about female manipulation isn't enough. You need to know how to react properly. The most common and effective female manipulation is the fake offense. A woman will sulk or act upset over something trivial, something completely insignificant. For example, she doesn't like your tone of voice, so she twists the meaning of your words and convinces herself she's deeply insulted. Sound familiar? It's important to understand. This isn't because she doesn't understand what's happening or because she's too sensitive. The real reason? The most privileged, most powerful position in a relationship is the victim role. Nothing beats it. Why is the victim role so powerful? Because a victim is never held accountable for anything. A victim only takes and never gives. And the most dangerous part? It doesn't matter how she treated you a day, a week, or a month ago. What matters is, right now, at this moment, you've supposedly hurt her so badly that she's broken. And because of that, everything she did before this moment is erased. She gets a clean slate. In every relationship, even the best ones, it's always possible to find a reason to be offended. All you need is motivation. Find a tiny issue, blow it out of proportion, and use it as a weapon. It's like a pedestrian stepping in front of a speeding car, pretending not to see it, and then blaming the driver for the crash. Any reasonable man, when he thinks he's made a mistake, wants to fix the problem. But here's the trap. Apologizing won't fix this problem. It will make it worse. Because in that moment, she doesn't care about fairness. She cares about power. She is not the victim. You are not the one who started this conflict. She just found a more advantageous position to be in. If you defend yourself, you're guilty. If you don't defend yourself, you're cold and heartless. Do you know why this manipulation technique is the most effective? Because women use it at the perfect moment. Think back to the beginning of your relationship. This kind of nonsense didn't happen back then. That's because at that stage, the woman knew that if she pulled something so irrational, you'd tell her to get lost. But after a few years, she senses that she can now afford to be offended. Man finds himself in a difficult position. For 3 years, the woman acted reasonably. So in the 4th year, would she really just start being unreasonable for no reason? The man assumes she must have a real reason. I must have actually done something wrong. This is how the male mind rationalizes it. That's why you need to ask yourself a simple question. What would have happened if this exact situation had occurred in the past? How would she have reacted back then? Think about it. If you realize that before, she wouldn't have even paid attention to the same issue, then now she's just trying to push you down. In that case, you should never apologize. Instead, recognize that she is the one at fault and that she actually owes you an apology. And this is the truth. This behavior is her mistake, not yours. In this situation, do not engage with her. That's exactly what she wants. The most effective and correct move for a man in this scenario is simple. Calmly point out that she is being unreasonable, then tell her, "Go collect yourself, and when you've calmed down, come back and we'll talk." The second most common female manipulation is comparison. In my observation, it's incredibly easy for a woman to make a man feel worthless. All she has to do is casually mention how her ex once gave her an expensive ring that you can't afford, or he took her on vacations, or he drove a nice car, or he was more muscular, etc. The point is, she subtly highlights how another man outperformed you and indirectly suggests that you are failing to compete. A man can't just ignore this, because by nature, men are hierarchical beings. For a man, it's crucial to feel like the best option for his woman in every way. That's why, in this situation, you start comparing yourself to the other man from a losing position. And naturally, she guides the direction of this comparison. The goal here is simple. She wants to put herself in a position where she is the one deciding whether you're successful or not. This is one of the most hidden and dirtiest manipulations because it's not direct. She's not asking you for anything explicitly. This is the equivalent of someone nudging you slightly in the subway to steal your seat, and when you confront them, they say, "Oh, that was an accident." If you get upset when a woman does this kind of comparison manipulation, you will immediately be accused of being insecure, lacking confidence, and spreading negativity. Some men try to use mirroring techniques. They respond by comparing the woman to their exes. For example, they might say, "Well, my ex had a bigger chest." But women know how to play this game much better than men. She will immediately turn it around on you, saying something like, "Oh, poor thing. It must have been so hard for her to carry those around." That's why you should never engage in this game or try to invert the situation. The only thing you should do is draw the right conclusions about the kind of woman you're dealing with. A woman who does this will only bring problems into your future. And if a woman starts doing this kind of comparison inside the relationship, then it's an even dirtier form of manipulation. This happens when she says things like, "My ex, my boss, or some other guy is giving me a lot of attention." She presents it as if it's not her fault at all, as if she has nothing to do with it. She'll say something like, "I don't know why he acts that way, maybe because I'm just so pretty." But 99% of the time this is a lie. Ask yourself, could she have immediately cut ties with these men when they started showing interest? Of course she could have, but she didn't. Why? Because on one hand, she enjoys the attention. On the other hand, she tells you about it for two reasons. To make herself look good. "See, I'm such an honest girl. I don't even hide it from you." To make you jealous and force you into a competition. You don't need to ask her why she still keeps in contact with them. If you do, she will just say, "My ex and I are just friends. He texts me, not the other way around. My boss is my boss. I can't just ignore him. My job is important." The key takeaway? Her job is apparently more important than your relationship. You need to understand that she does this because she wants to play both sides. On one side, she pretends to be a loyal and virtuous woman who transparently informs you about what's happening. On the other side, she deliberately irritates you, making you more attached to her. The dirtiest part of this manipulation is that she frames other men's attention as a problem, but she is actually the one orchestrating the whole thing. And because she's the creator of the problem, she also has zero interest in solving it. She will keep you informed about this problem, but you will never see her actually take action to remove it. Why? Because she doesn't want to. For her, this situation is both enjoyable and beneficial. Her ultimate goal is to drag you into this competition and make you participate in her auction. But the most interesting part? The man who wins this game is the one who makes the decision not to participate in the auction at all. The next female manipulation is hidden domination. How does it look? A woman with a smile on her face and bright eyes tells you no every single time. For example, you ask her to go somewhere with you, no. You ask her to meet your friends, no. You suggest moving in together, no. And it doesn't matter how sweetly and lovingly she explains why not. The key point here is that she is rejecting every initiative you take, which gradually breaks down your confidence. Now, many won't immediately understand what I mean and might jump to premature conclusions, but hold on for a second. Don't rush. I will explain everything. The logic behind it is that first, she constantly rejects you, saying no, no, no to various things you suggest. And then, after a certain period, she agrees to one of your initiatives. You become overjoyed, feeling like you have achieved something. But the whole problem is that by the time she agrees, it's no longer your decision, it's hers. The person who slows things down is the one controlling the relationship. She was the one putting on the brakes, and later, she was the one who decided to move forward. This type of manipulation works on a biochemical level within you. When a person is denied something multiple times and then suddenly granted permission, a large dose of dopamine is released. As a result, each no increases the value of the eventual yes. If you fall into this once, you start making irrational judgments based on dopamine levels. You convince yourself that being with such a hard-to-get woman is your conscious choice, and you feel like a strong man for overcoming the obstacles she puts in your way. In reality, however, she is controlling the relationship because she dictates when and how much dopamine is released in you. How do you avoid this trap? If a woman tells you no about something, you should never offer it again. More than that, if she later changes her mind and wants what she previously rejected, she should have to put in effort to get it. If today she says no to something, but a week or a month later she comes back and offers the same thing, you should not immediately agree. She needs to feel the value of your initiatives. She must understand that your proposals are limited and time-sensitive. Next time, she will take that into account. However, this isn't something you should directly tell her. You shouldn't say, "I offered this before, and now you want it, so I'm making you wait." Keep in mind that if you don't know the rules of the game with a woman who uses this manipulation technique, she will eat you alive. So, you either play her game back at her, or you simply walk away. There is no other option. In such moments, what you can say is, "Now is not really the right time for that, let's talk about it later," and close the topic. The next manipulation is designed to test how foolish a man is. This happens when a woman tells you, "I have a difficult personality." What she is actually saying is this: "I have no control over my behavior, so I can do whatever I want." In reality, people either improve daily or they deteriorate. If a woman is trying to push the idea that you should accept her as she is, she will never get better. The issue isn't that she can't change, she simply doesn't want to. She is openly telling you to your face that she will not make any effort to adapt to you. Either you do all the adapting, or there will be no relationship. And if you accept this, then later you have no right to complain. You can't whine about it, she warned you. The funniest part is that men actually participate in this charade. Remember this: if a woman refuses to change at any stage of the relationship, you are already knee-deep in trouble. Normal people in healthy relationships not only acknowledge their bad habits and mistakes, but actively work every day to improve them. So when a woman tells you, "Accept me as I am," what she is really saying is, "Listen, sweetheart, I won't even try to be a good woman for you, not even temporarily." There is another type of woman, one that you've probably encountered before, who says, "There are two personalities inside me, two sides. One is the bright, loving side that fills a man with happiness, and the other is the dark, bad side, which comes from my past traumas." What is she really trying to communicate? That the man should love her bright side while tolerating her dark side without ever being upset by it. Her past traumas should excuse all her bad behaviors, and no matter how terribly she acts, you should never let it change how you see her. If you don't follow this rule, then her dark side will not like it, and she will start acting even worse. Out of all this absurdity, you need to understand only one thing. Any story where a woman talks about her traumas, energies, negative experiences, intuition, or emotions is always a destructive scenario. Trying to discuss or negotiate anything with a woman like that is pointless. The next manipulation is, "You're not my husband." This is when a man tries to set certain boundaries for a woman, and she responds with, "You're not my husband." This manipulation is aimed at the most inexperienced and naive men. You have to be completely clueless about women to think that after marriage, she will change this attitude. Technically, yes, she will change, but not for the better. So, I'll give you a universal piece of advice. Whenever you hear any kind of strange phrase from a woman, try to turn it around. For example, if she wants you to buy her roses on March 8th, or if she expects you to pick her up after work in the evening, just respond with, "You're not my wife. I'm not doing anything. If you become my wife, then maybe I will." Or if she says, "Don't raise your voice at me," you respond, "You're not my wife. If you become my wife, then I'll stop raising my voice." You'd agree that this all sounds not just absurd, but downright ridiculous. But when these words come from the woman you love, trust me, it won't seem funny anymore. A woman either respects the figure of a man, or she never will. The most poisonous female manipulation is emotional entanglement. Believe me, convincing a man that he did something terrible just a moment ago is extremely easy. And the shortest way to achieve that is by applying emotional pressure. Because logical arguments can be understood, analyzed, and even challenged, but emotions, you can't do anything about emotions. Because your mistake isn't proven by facts. It's measured by how many minutes you made the woman cry. There are no actual facts, but the intensity of her negative emotions increases exponentially. She might even say something like, "Look at me. Look what you've done to me." Every single one of you watching this video should recognize the following truth. At some point, you've paid more attention to a woman and invested more into a relationship where there were more problems. The real difficulty lies in the fact that men set different standards for different women. With a hysterical woman, a man feels grateful just because she didn't give him a headache for one day. Meanwhile, the same man will scrutinize a normal woman's behavior under a microscope, looking for flaws. Human nature is wired in such a way that we only appreciate water when we're thirsty, food when we're hungry, and peace when we're in a relationship with a chaotic woman, because there is a shortage of it. Do you know why most people are willing to invest everything and sacrifice anything to save a miserable relationship, but aren't willing to make even the slightest effort to improve a normal one? The answer is simple. A difficult relationship creates an emotional roller coaster. More impulses, more excitement, and a constant flood of different neurotransmitters and hormones in the bloodstream. That's why most men feel grateful for just one day of peace with a hysterical woman, but they don't value 5 years of a stable, peaceful relationship with an emotionally balanced and reliable woman. The bottom line is this: don't be a slave to your primal instincts. Practice more self-restraint. Understand this topic well enough so that you can choose a good woman and actually appreciate your relationship with her. Our online lectures will soon be available for purchase on our website. Stay tuned for more details and don't miss the chance to take your knowledge and skills to the next level. Thank you for watching. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with more valuable insights and tips. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media accounts linked in the description for exclusive updates, discussions, and content. See you in the next video.